The greatest fairy tale never told is coming to Beau Rivage this summer. Everyone's favorite ogre hits the stage in the Broadway hit Shrek the Musical. Join Shrek, Donkey, and Princess Fiona on a high-energy, family-friendly adventure, June 11th through July 2nd. Tickets start at $25 with 4-packs starting at $60. VIP packages available. Get your tickets at beaurivage.com. A Rand Productions show produced through special arrangement with Music Theater International, MTI, plus tax and service charge. Schedule subject to change. Some restrictions may apply.
Welcome to the Mudcat Report, community news, politics, and culture with a local twist. Here's your host, owner and publisher of the Gazebo Gazette, Hunter Dawkins.
Good afternoon. My name is Hunter Dawkins. I am the host of the Mudcat Report. This is the 26th episode, halfway, Jeff, a Mississippi Gulf Coast Community News podcast. Sponsored by the Gazebo Gazette, Harrison County's independent newspaper, the Beau Rivage Resort and Casino in Biloxi, Nine Toes Brewing Company in Pass Christian, O'Dwyer Realty Agent Stephanie Mankiewicz, Joseph Kelly's Attorney at Law, Coast Casual in Pass Christian, the Insurance Barn in Gulfport. This week is the Mississippi Deep Sea Fishing Rodeo, which we'll hear from our great guest coming up here soon. And we're always in the U.S. Marine Inc. studio. I'm here with my wonderful producer of the show, my good friend, Jeff Clark. Jeff is a well-accomplished, award-winning journalist and the director of the Harrison County Senior Services. Jeff, how are you, my friend?
Hunter, what's happening, man? I'm well, just busy day, but that's all right. How was the Mississippi Municipal League? Was it cool?
It was great. It was solid. The convention center was Sam Votan, who is the leader of the Mississippi Coliseum and the convention center. The executive director for the county does a fantastic job. They had a great setup. And I tell all of my friends that are with city councils or aldermen or anything, or mayors as such, everybody needs to go to that because it is a phenomenal thing. They've got put together different organizations, different, little small bitty things. You got education classes, you got turf, you've got, I'm trying to think of what else, contractors, you got mowers, all these different things, Jeff, and it's definitely something that makes the city stronger. Our theme today, Jeff, is the seafood events on the coast. This is a big topic in our area, Jeff, and especially through the spring and summer months, which come together with crawfish and shrimp boils, blessings of the fleet, fishing rodeos, etc. Give me your thoughts.
It's a big part of our economy. It's not the large part. It's not as big of a part of our economy as it used to be, and has a lot to do with the Bonnie Carey spillway, the oil spill, a lot of things that have happened. But all of that said, seafood's on the rise again on the Mississippi Gulf Coast. I'm glad to see it coming back. I went to Blessing of the Fleet on Saturday. A lot of St. Paul Carnival stuff going on over the weekend, but I went to the Blessing of the Fleet. You always hope that they have a good season, that's good shrimp season, that the oysters are coming back. But hey, man, you're talking about the Mississippi Municipal League. When I worked in Columbus or Tupelo or other places, the mayors of other cities, councilmen, they couldn't wait to come down to the coast to attend the MML so they could eat seafood,
That's right.
See all the great tourist things we have to offer, but eating seafood. I'm going down to the coast so I can get some crab legs. I'm going down to the coast so I can get shrimp. It's a part of it. So,
and the casinos and the restaurants, they have definitely built up that in Biloxi, Gulfport, Long Beach, Pass Christian, all the way across the board, and it's phenomenal what that industry has done for our economy over the traditions. And, obviously talking to these next few guests, we'll talk about what this tradition is, at least for the seafood industry in the coast, my friend.
Yeah, absolutely, man. I'm a couple of really good experts tonight, and then we got Richie to talk about seafood, and we got Richie coming on to talk about the deep sea fishing rodeo, which is this weekend or July 2nd through 5th in Jones Park and Gulfport. Rode by today on my way to work, hoping I'd see the old Ferris wheel. Not there yet, but I know it's coming. So
It'll come in soon.
all right, well, let's get into. We'll have Richie on. He's going to be our first guest tonight. We'll talk to him about the deep sea fishing rodeo after our first commercial break. We'll be right back.
Nine Toes Brewing Company is a Gulf Coast destination for craft beer, great food, and interactive entertainment. Enjoy a rotating selection of small batch brews, a menu of comfort food favorites, and state-of-the-art golf simulators featuring world-famous courses.
Looking for insurance coverage you can count on? Call the Insurance Barn, a professional agency since 1959. The Insurance Barn writes all-in-one policies and offers coverage for homeowners, fire, flood, commercial property, auto, boats, motorcycles, plus wind and hail protection.
Looking for effortless style on the coast? Discover Coast Casual in the Pass, your locally owned men's and boys' boutique. Coast Casual offers a mix of coastal and southern-inspired clothing, accessories, and gifts.
Guest is the longtime president of the Mississippi Deep Sea Fishing Rodeo in Gulfport, Richie Valdez. Richie, this is the 78th annual Mississippi Deep Sea Fishing Rodeo at Jones Park in Gulfport. From the outsider's point of view, what makes this event family-oriented?
Well, Hunter, first of all, I'd like to say I'm glad to be on this show. I can't thank you enough for your support for the Mississippi Deep Sea Fishing Rodeo. We have a long time history of, having all the kids there for the kids fishing rodeo. And it's just been a family event over the years that people come to. They may move away for some time and then they come back and the first thing they say is, hey, we're going out to the Deep Sea Fishing Rodeo. I haven't been there since I was a kid. It's just a great family thing, and it's always great to see the kids' faces when they receive those prizes.
And I know this is going to be a pretty much a funny question for you because you're going to be like, well, we're doing this most of the year. How much time does this overall take to promote this event and bring in a decent revenue for you guys?
We work on this event. We start working. We hit the ground the day after the rodeo. And we have meetings once a month. Of course, me and the board of directors, we're always on the phone working with stuff, trying to get sponsors, hitting up different people for different ads and stuff on our site. So we work on it year-round, and it takes year-round. Most people don't realize the rodeo takes around $130,000 to put on every year.
Wow. Is there as far as not only that, are y'all having to pay for music and things as such? Or vendors, food, things. Talk to me about that.
Yes, on the bands, bands all across the country. They've gone up on their prices a lot. We have a great lineup coming for the rodeo. We have Journey Tribute with Rodeo Nola. If you had never seen those guys, they're phenomenal. That's opening night, starts at 7. We have Amanda Shaw out of Louisiana. She'll be here on Friday night for our Country Cajun night.
Nice.
And then, of course, we always have stars on 4th of July with the fireworks show. And the mayor has, me and him talked the other day, and he said we're doubling the fireworks show. So it's really going to be a great time.
Awesome. I know Mayor Keating definitely looks forward to all that stuff going on. What's the largest? I know this is another question. What's the largest and the smallest fish you guys, just a ETA on what your thoughts are, your estimate? What's the largest and the smallest fish you guys end up catching every year in the rodeo?
It's always usually your big weights is going to be the shark. Of course, Mississippi Deep Sea Fishing Rodeo holds numerous state titles for this event. Of course, the shark event that I remember most is it goes way back. I think that shark was 800 and something pounds. That's before it was a tiger shark, but that was before they classified.
Yeah.
And they didn't break it down. It was just listed as shark. And then I'd probably say our smallest fish is probably going to be a croaker out of the kids category. It's always so funny. They bring it in and it'll fit in the palm of your hand, but
that's right.
They think they're as big as the 800-pound shark.
Nice. Yeah, I remember, Richie, and I told you the next year before COVID, that I won my first ever award, at least for taking the picture of that big, huge tiger shark we were talking about 850 pounds, and it was a massive thing to see. And of course, that's something that everybody wants to see. Bringing in fish like that, and y'all always have a good group over there weighing them in, and that's something right by the entrance. Am I correct? Right when you drive in, that's right where the drop off is.
Correct. You'll come in, you'll see the anchor, you'll make the circle. There's a little gate there. There's someone there that'll lift it up so you can drive your vehicle up. We also take fish by water. You can pull right up behind the weigh scales, and they'll help you unload it there. So we try to get those fish to the scale as soon as possible. Mickey Lagasse is our weighmaster again this year.
Oh, yeah.
He's also one of the head honchos with the CCA. So
yeah,
we got a great guy in there. He became a director last year. I can't thank him enough for the work he does.
Awesome. Well, when people come back to you, Richie, and they tell you about the event every year, maybe this is the past event they're talking about to you, but what do they talk about more in the past events? Like, what stands out to them where they're like, this, Richie, this was great, you guys did this, that, or the other? What do they talk about the most?
We get a lot of talk now about the Landry Ford Memorial Kids Tournament. Can't thank the Ford family enough for sponsoring that and helping with that. I think that is one of the biggest compliments the rodeo gets. We had 250 kids fish the tournament last year. It was just an amazing time. And that right there, when you come in there and those kids are bringing it in, it's just amazing to sit back and watch. Can't thank those parents for bringing those kids in. And the Ford family asked us, we used to be the kids' rodeo was always on Saturday. Then Pat Adams gets to go to 2 days. Then last year we had a meeting right after the rodeo, and they said, hey, guys, really looking great. Can we do 3 days? Landry's son, he fishes the tournament, and they want to be able to fish, with these dads, with these grandfathers, with these mothers, and they want to. They see their older siblings competing in the adult category, and now they're out there fishing 3 days out of that tournament with them. Hopefully, one day we take it to a 4-day, and that's the biggest compliment we get. We always hear just what a great job that we do on that kids tournament.
I know you guys have the pageant every year. Give me the specifics of that, like what the girls do for you guys, helping y'all out with that, and when they actually have to get judged.
Shirley's our coordinator for that, and I have to say she does a great job with it. She takes the girls, they go all over to different cities. They not only are representing the fishing rodeo, they represent the city they're in. They promote their cities that they're from. And I can't thank the cities enough. We get a lot of support out of that Hancock County area, the Bay St. Louis, Diamond Head. They all do luncheons for the girls. Gulfport does an aquarium thing. So their girls are all over the coast. And so when you see them, stop, say hey to them, talk to them about what they do. All of them are real talkative and friendly, and they just have a great time. They're taken all over the coast, and they meet with different mayors and get their, they get insight of how politics work. And, it's just a great experience for them. I know this year, right off the bat, they're going to be at the mayor's luncheon downtown at the downtown diner. And then I think the next day they're out at the water park, hanging out there for a while. And then they start branching into their cities. I know Bay St. Louis has got a full day for them. Hancock's got a full day for them. They will make an appearance over at the Craft Fest in the Bay. So, just they're all over. You see them, stop, talk to them about their city, and talk to them about Mississippi Deep Sea Fishing Rodeo.
Well, we thank you, my friend. You give the audience a way they can reach out and be in contact if they have any questions.
You can pull up the Mississippi Deep Sea Fishing Rodeo.com, and then it's a board list on there. If you go to directors, you want to talk to a specific director or me, myself. We all of our phone numbers are listed. Give us a call. We answer any questions we can for you. And we can't thank you enough for your support. Without the people coming out to the fishing rodeo, there's no way we'd make it for 78 years.
Hey, we thank you very much, Richie. You've always been a good friend, and anything we could do, you let us know.
Yes, sir. And we can't thank y'all enough and your audience enough. Remember, we're there on the 2nd, 3rd, 4th, and 5th. Free parking down on the west side with Coast Area Transit doing transportation back and forth for us. And don't forget to come out on 4th of July. We also have VIP tables available.
There you go. You guys take care.
Thank you, Hunter. Y'all take care.
The Gazebo Gazette is Harrison County's only independent newspaper, publishing news from Gulfport to Bay St. Louis every Friday. Hi, this is Hunter Dawkins, owner of the Gazebo Gazette. If you're looking for local news without the hassle of sorting through story after digital story, log on to thegazebogazette.com.
Looking for trusted legal guidance on the Mississippi Gulf Coast? Joseph Kelly, attorney at law, has been serving the coast since 1993, helping families protect what matters most. From estate planning to securing your legacy, Joseph Kelly provides experienced, personalized legal services designed around your unique needs.
Guest is the executive director of the Mississippi Gulf Coast Fisheries United, and also a good friend of mine, Ryan Bradley. Ryan, how important are these seafood events on the coast for your members and the cities that host?
Yeah, well, thank you for having me, Hunter. I really appreciate it. These blessings of the fleets and some of these other seafood festivals, they're so important to our culture and our heritage, getting the people out, our residents, enjoying our local seafood, meeting and greeting our local fishermen. We're losing a way of life, and people need to wake up. We've been ringing alarm bells, but the average age of these fishermen are getting older that's catching our seafood, and we got to support them so that the next generations, the young fishermen, can come in behind them and see opportunity and see, be willing to take on the responsibility of providing fresh seafood to the public. And so it's a big deal. And so we're so thankful for the cities of Pastor-Sham, Biloxi, some of these other cities that have festivals. It's a great thing, getting the public engaged, getting them out on the front lines to see what's going on, blessing our boats, getting blessings from above. That's so important. That's what we have to do, is put that first and continue to put our best foot forward. We're really blessed here in Mississippi. We have tremendous marine resources. Our oysters have made a tremendous recovery. We have our wild reefs right outside of Pastor-Sham, stretching down through Bay St. Louis and Waveland down to Bayou Caddy and into Hancock County. The oyster reefs are flourishing, and we've had great water quality for many years now. And so, we'll be looking forward to a great oyster season, and to get our guys there. A lot of our guys that oyster, they also shrimp. And so, we always encourage our guys, our citizens, go and eat fresh Mississippi shrimp anytime you go out to eat. Demand only the best Mississippi wild seafood, and ask for it, demand it. Tell them, you want to eat at places that serve it. And we'll see that demand trickle down to our fishermen. And that'll help support them, give them incentive to go out and continue to do what they do. And that's provide some of the world's best protein and best food on your dinner plate.
Ryan, of course, you'd mentioned too about this, but I'm segueing tell me the importance of the youth in being a part of these traditional festivals and how it's important of the kid fishing a rodeo, not only with the blessing of the fleets, but of the deep sea fishing rodeo. How important this is, because especially my former guest Richie Valdez said this is something he's talked about every year by former people involved in the fishing tournament.
Yeah. So what we see in the seafood industry, which, comes under the commercial rules and regulations and laws, is that we've seen a severe decline in the number of licensed participants in the commercial fisheries throughout Mississippi and in our federal fisheries offshore in federal waters. And so what we're seeing is 25 years ago, we had over 2,000 shrimp boats. And we look at today, we had 22 boats out on opening day. So we've really fallen down from our peak production and from our heyday. And so we're just trying to hold on to what we have. We want to encourage the next generation of fishermen. There's a lot of opportunities out there, grants and stuff to help young fishermen development. We're looking at those closely. But at the end of the day, we've got to make it profitable to make it where these young fishermen want to get involved, because when we look forward into the future, 10, 15, 20 years from now, and we don't have a workforce, a leadership ability to go out and captain these boats and do what it takes to provide this fresh seafood, catch it and harvest it and do a good job and make money with it, we're going to lose. We're going to lose out completely, and we're going to become dependent on foreign nations for our food supply, and that becomes a matter of national security. And so food security is national security. So we've got to put our fishermen first. We've got to put our young fishermen first, and we've got to continue to develop ways to strengthen our workforce and make harvesting seafood profitable again. And there's a lot of good things that are in the works. We're starting to see the tide shift. I just hope it's not too little, too late. But we need all the help we can get, and we certainly appreciate the time you give us to spread our message and help raise awareness about what's going on in our local seafood industry. There's a lot of opportunities to get involved, to work in the seafood industry, whether it's on an oyster boat or a crab boat or a shrimp boat. So for anybody that may be listening, that knows somebody that wants to learn these trades, all you got to do is venture down to the harbors and start talking to some of the boat owners and go out and give it a try. And, you may like it, and it may be a lifestyle that fits you. But, we're in a really good period of recovery in our marine resources. So what we see when our oysters come back, the crabs come back, the fish come back, with the speckled trout and the redfish, and everything starts coming back along. Those oysters are a keystone species, so it benefits commercial and recreational, and it's really a great thing for the environment as a whole. But it's super important for our young fishermen. And this is not just a problem in fishing; it's the same problem in farming. They actually have a term for it in fishing. They're calling it the graying of the fleet. But we see the same thing in farming. The average age of the farmers are getting older, just like the fishermen. And at the end of the day, somebody's got to produce the food that we put on our table. And we need hardworking families to step forward and to fill that gap. And there's plenty of opportunity to do that.
Well, Ryan, tagging along with what you had mentioned about the need for a public safety issue too, does the federal or state government have any play in making sure these economic boosting seafood events don't fail?
Yeah, look, we've got all kinds of funds out there. People need to wake up and look at what's going on with all these different funds that our state and federal government is appropriating. There's so many, you can't even list them all. But the main ones that's major opportunities that we don't want to see pass and the window is fading is on our BP Restore Act funds. And so, I just encourage everybody to follow along as closely as you can, get involved, engage the decision makers, demand good quality projects, because I tell you, when you look at some of the stuff that they're spending money on, you really question, what is the nexus to the environmental damages that occurred? And they don't have to always justify environmental damages, because there's a lot of economic stuff that went on with the cities and the counties. But at the end of the day, I think it's going to be a failure if we don't support our seafood industry, because they bore the brunt of these BP damages that we've seen back in 2010 from the oil spill. So, it's a historic opportunity, billions of dollars being spent across the Gulf on Restore Act projects. Take a close look at that. I encourage the listeners to follow that as close as you can. There's many different what they call buckets of money that they use for different purposes. And it's very complex. It's difficult for the average citizen to follow along. And so that's been problematic. But, what a waste of money if we don't put our seafood industry back on a path towards greatness. We forget that Biloxi used to be the seafood capital of the world. And we've got this tremendous economic potential to grow so many jobs through our seafood industry. And I think we're on a good path, but, that's a way for our state and federal, for these governments to help with the funding, these projects. We've got to watch closely. Also, you've got funds like Go Mesa. That's the Gulf of Mexico, now the Gulf of America Emergency Security Act that all the Gulf states that have oil pipeline flowing through, they get a revenue share in those proceeds, and they spend those monies on conservation projects. So there's all this opportunity to increase conservation and the environment and benefit the environment in Mississippi. And so I just encourage folks to watch these opportunities closely and get involved and get engaged and talk to your local decision makers, your politicians, your mayors, your city councils, and let them know what's important to you. Because, these are once in a lifetime opportunities. These monies may not always be available. Certainly in the case of the BP funds, that those will be dwindled down and come to an end. So, that's a big deal.
Ryan, being from a family that built its foundation on the seafood industry, how important is it that the local commercial fishermen work together with the seafood processors?
Yeah, that's always been a challenge. It's unfortunate that that's just the nature of the way that the business has gone over the years. But we've seen in recent years, some cooperation with the processors from the oyster industry, and we're working with them closer in the shrimp industry. And that's what it's going to take, because at the end of the day, we're competing in a global marketplace, and we all got to work together to put our best product forward, an American product. And we've really got some of the best seafood in the world. And so there's no reason that we can't sell everything we catch for an absolute premium price anywhere in the world, really. And so, that's what we're looking at. That's what we're working towards. And, I would say we're looking at increased cooperation amongst all sectors, in the fishing industry. And that's what it's going to take to have successful management of our fisheries that results in great outcomes for generations to come, so that our grandkids and their grandkids can enjoy the same opportunities when it comes to fishing that we've enjoyed and our grandfathers have enjoyed.
Ryan, the final question. Should Mississippi's Department of Marine Resources be more involved in these local seafood events? I know they're heavily involved in art in the past with education, but it doesn't appear, now I could be wrong, but it doesn't appear that they're as involved in a number of the seafood events on the coast. Do you personally think that they should be involved more? Do your members feel the same way?
Yeah, no doubt. I think that, they were involved in the past blessing of the fleet in terms of leading the boat parade with their vessels, and we appreciate that and their support. But we see, there is a seafood marketing fund that the DMR has control over, and they get appropriated funds from the Tidelands and from the BP Restore Act and other funds. And so we need to be asking, what are they spending that money on? Is it going to events that are really promoting things? I know that they did some good work down at the Billfish Classic in Biloxi. They fed a bunch of people down there, some of the best Mississippi seafood we had on hand. And they're doing all kind of things that a lot of people don't even realize. But at the end of the day, there's still a lot of opportunity. I know we've been talking with DMR. We're encouraging them to have a oyster festival. And we want to do that in Long Beach, Pastor Center, Long Beach. And a huge oyster festival to celebrate the recovery of our oyster industry and let everybody come out and enjoy these beautiful, fresh local oysters that we've been harvesting. We're looking to a bumper crop this coming season, and we really want to get the word out about how wonderful these oysters are that we're having. So look forward to that. Maybe this fall, maybe we can convince DMR to support that effort. And, if y'all talk with them folks, tell them that that'd be a great thing to have. So, but as always, Hunter, I appreciate you having me, and I'm glad to answer any other questions, and thank you for all that you do, helping to get the word out with local community leaders and the like. So thank you.
We thank you, Ryan, very much, and tell everybody how they can contact you, either email or whatever proper way to be able to contact your organization or anything as such.
Yeah, so again, my name is Ryan Bradley. I'm the director of Mississippi Commercial Fisheries United. We are the largest organization of commercial fishermen and fishing businesses, seafood dealers, and processors in Mississippi. And if you want to learn more about us, you can visit our website at www.mscfu.org. That stands for Mississippi Commercial Fisheries United.org. And you can email us at info@mscfu.org. And we'll be glad to get with you. And we're doing a number of projects that's helping our communities. We're doing some marine debris removal that's benefiting our crab and our shrimp fisheries. And we're doing some food donations where we're taking fish that's being otherwise discarded, and we're getting it to food shelters and food banks. And so if there's anybody out there that wants to get involved and help support any of these projects we're doing, again, you can check us out on our website or email info@mscfu.org.
We thank you, my friend.
Yes, sir. Thank you. Y'all have a great evening. Take care.
If you are thinking about selling on your own, maybe ask Steph. If you would like to talk to Stephanie to help determine your next steps, call today at 228-563-0471 or call her at the office and ask for Steph at 228-452-4242.
Join us July 2nd to 5th at Jones Park in Gulfport for the 78th Annual Mississippi Deep Sea Fishing Rodeo, a Gulf Coast tradition filled with fishing, food, family fun, and live entertainment.
I'd love to introduce my final guest, the City of Pascagoula's Ward 3, Alderman Kirk Kimball. Okay, Alderman Kimball, how important are these local seafood events for the Mississippi Gulf Coast seafood industry?
They're very important. And I think what's transpired is we're doing a lot of things with the seafood industry, but one of the things that a lot of people do not either understand or do not recognize is that in Mississippi, we have a gaming industry, we have a poultry industry, and we have a seafood industry. It's been overlooked, it's been beat up, and as you can tell from the state legislature of Mississippi, they've done some things that weren't quite what we call nice to the industry. And we just want to go ahead and do a lot of focusing on what has occurred. And if everyone, and I've said this many times over and over, if everyone would just buy local seafood, either at their local seafood dock or straight from the boat, it sure would help the industry. They've gotten beat up with imports, and I don't want to sound like I'm beating the drum that everyone else has beat over and over the years, but the industry, I'm going to tell you, has taken a beating. Give you an example. From, I would say about 1984, the same price for shrimp is what they're paying now. Although diesel fuel prices were a heck of a lot lower than what they are now. So how can you make it when your product is not getting the price that it got in now currently versus what it got 25 or 30 years ago? It's unsustainable.
Alderman Kimball, tell me the importance of the youth being part of these local traditions.
Say that again. I'm sorry, I was only catching the last part of it.
Tell me the importance of the youth being a part of these local seafood traditions.
You have to understand what the coast was back in the 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s. It was our identity. That was the coast before gaming. And a lot of people forget that. And if you drive down Biloxi Beach, that's what people know now. But as a kid growing up, and I don't want to show my age, but that's not what was always there before. And the economy was the seafood industry. And if you look at the economy and economic impact of what the seafood industry does here locally, everyone thinks that it's the guy on the boat and he's going out and he's getting his catch. Has zero to do with that. That's the smallest amount of the equation. That guy has to feed his family. He's going to go to the local grocery store. He needs fuel for his boat. He needs fuel for his truck. The person that's going to work at that convenience store when he gets his diesel fuel, she has a family, correct? She's going to go to the grocery store. The people that are in the grocery store, they have a family. It's just a spiral all the way down. It starts from the top and it works its way down. This is a local economy. I mean, this is about as local as it gets on a macro level. But if you're looking from the 10,000 feet level, the economy of the coast is revolving around the seafood industry, which is dying as we speak. And we do need to shed some light on what this industry can do for the coast, just for an economy itself.
Being from a family that built its foundation on the seafood industry, and yes, I know your family was large in the seafood industry, how important is it that the local commercial fishermen work together with the city, with a city on the coast?
Well, when you look at what we've done here in the city of Pasquishan, our harbor is an economy all to itself. If you go down to the harbor, you're going to see commercial vessels, you're going to see a seafood vessel, you're going to see a recreational vessel, then you're going to see everything from local restaurants, you're going to see seafood dealers that are shipping out to different states. You're going to see seafood dealers that are down there selling locally. You're going to see people that are down there fishing. I mean, this is an entire economy all to itself. But to add credibility to what I'm saying, if you look at what transpired just last year with the legislation that was brought out for the oyster reefs, what was behind that was not so much just the local fishermen. That was going to affect everyone in the city of Pasquishan, and I'll tell you the reason why. Because it's taxes. We have to support that harbor. And once that legislation came to fruition, and if it was going to pass, and if they did not push it and put that lawsuit where it needed to be, and they stopped it, what you'd have seen is a lot of these boats that are here in this harbor would have not been able to pay their lease or anything in that harbor, which means is going to cause a budget shortfall for the city of Pasquishan. And what about I mean by that is if the boats falter, they can no longer pay the lease. Every citizen in the city of Pasquishan would eventually have to pick that up. That's not conducive for the environment that we have here in Pasquishan. That is not what we want. So we did everything we could possibly do to work as hard as we could to make that known to our state legislators. That affected us, this small town, that affected us tremendously.
Segue off that, Alderman, can the local harbor be an economic builder as it was in the past for more than just the seafood industry?
Definitely. It's an economy all to itself. And my hopes and desires, and we've shared this with the other board members and with city of Pasquotank officials, with the mayor and with citizens, is that the harbor is working its way towards a marina type harbor where we're going to transition into that space. Because if you look at that harbor now, but I want to say this, but without forgetting who we are as a community and not forgetting those local fishermen. So we want to go to a marina style without forgetting them. And to go further, go down to our harbor and you look at our harbor and you will see the local fishermen. You will also see the guys down at Shaggy's, which are the charter fishermen. We've got to be able to capitalize. I don't want to say guys, we must capitalize on that. It's always packed down there. You try to call one of those guys, you can't get an appointment to save your life. They're booked up for weeks at a time. And now we have more hotel space. We should capitalize on that. We also have more boutique clothers, boutiques that they're going to, more local restaurants. There's more businesses here than there was before. So those are the things that are going to be, I would say, conducive to more economic freedom here inside the city of Pasquotank and more opportunities for everyone, especially the local economy.
Final question, Alderman, and I know you have pressed this in past discussions, in the Board of Alderman discussions, but is there a commercial avenue for businesses other than seafood in the harbor? And I know you have been a big proponent of that. Just tell me what you think.
I think there is a propensity to have other businesses down there than what you have now currently. If you go to, and gosh, I hate to use other states as an example, but I feel if you travel on the West Coast, look at what they've done with not their state. Now that's a different story, but look at what they've done with their seaside communities everywhere.
Restaurant owner in California. So, I know I'll have to say that. Now you don't need to go behind it. I know the state. You got some different opinions of that, but I agree with you on that. So
if you can go down to Santa Monica Pier and look what those guys have done. They've incorporated every aspect of the sea. They've got something for everyone. There's restaurants, there's rides, there's local restaurants even on that scenery, and they cannot survive without the waves and the rocks that you see that are there. And I think we don't want to miss that opportunity. I think Pasquotank is I will say this, I'll go on and look, it's the greatest city in America because of its authenticity. You travel to other spaces, other cities, and I do it very often. They're missing one thing, and it's called authenticity, and Pasquotank has it. We are one of those cities, you cannot recreate what we have here in the city. We're a tourist attraction town. We must know our identity. And I think we need to capitalize on that. And I'll give you an example. The other night, we were having dinner at one of the local restaurants, and there was a couple next to us, and they said, golly, we can't believe we're in Pasquotank, Mississippi. And I'm listening as to why. And they were speaking about the scenery, the breeze, the restaurant they were eating at, the great food. They were going to walk next door, have a dessert. They were going to get a drink down the street at one of the local taverns. They just were in complete shock and awe as to what Pasquotank is about. And so what I mean by that is we didn't have to really create anything. It was already here, and it is here. We just need to capitalize on that and build around it. If I had to relate it to sports, it's like having your number one quarterback that everyone wants. You have him. Build the team around it.
We thank you very much, Alderman. And if there's anything, you can give us your contact or anybody that needs to get in touch with you to find out how they can ask some of these questions on the other side.
Sure, they can always email me. They can always text, and I will go ahead and give that phone number out now. It's 228-574-7909. Quickest way to catch me. And don't panic if I don't respond instantly. I'm usually in a meeting. But I also want to say one of the greatest things about public service is representing Pastor Shan. I know everyone thinks we take the heat. We don't. We have one of the greatest jobs in the entire universe. We get to represent some of the greatest people on earth in the greatest town.
Well, we thank you, sir. You take care of yourself, and we look forward to
Thank you
hearing
so much for
you.
having me on. It was a pleasure. Thank you so much.
United States Marine Inc. knows what it means to show up strong. Your grit and teamwork inspire us every day. At USMI, we cherish our family, and our family includes community and you. USMI builds the baddest boats with pride and coastal toughness.
Okay. We gratefully appreciate you listening to this podcast. And Jeff, we thank you again. We want to thank all of the sponsors, the Beau Rivage Resort and Casino, Nine Toes Brewery in Pass Christian, O'Dwyer Realty Agent Stephanie Mankiewicz, Joseph Kelly, Attorney at Law, Coast Casual in Pass Christian, the Insurance Barn in Gulfport, the Mississippi Deep Sea Fishing Rodeo in Gulfport at Jones Park this July 4th weekend, and the U.S. Marine Inc. Make sure you check us out on YouTube under the Gazebo Gazette Productions. Am I right about that, Jeff?
That's it, man. Gazebo Gazette Productions. You can see the Mudcat report. You can see the HD experience all under one channel.
There you go. Or you can follow us on the weekly award-winning best website in the state of Mississippi, the gazebogazette.com, where the podcast will be posted later on this week, as well as on facebook.com/The Real Gazebo Gazette, or on X at Gazebo Gazette as the handle. The Mudcat Report is available on all podcasts, including Apple, Spotify, iHeart, Amazon Music, or anything else under the Mudcat Report tag. Signing out, this is Hunter Dawkins, the host of the Mudcat Report. Now, you know the rest of the local news story. Good night.